So this is my basic bodice pattern from the shoulder down to the waist, and this is what I'm going to be using for this tutorial. So first we're going to be drafting our neckline. I want the neckline to be 3 inches wider than my basic neckline. That is the minimum you can go when you're working with a canoe or a boat neck. That will be 3 inches from here. So from this neckline point, I'm going to mark inwards 3 inches. So this is my 3 inches here, and I'm going to reconnect my neckline. So the neckline I used for my basic neck is 3 inches by 3 inches depth. So the width is 3 inches, the depth is also 3 inches. But to redraw this neck, I'm going to come down by 0.5 inch. So I'm going to connect this point to this point. So I'm going to be using my ruler to do that. My curved ruler. And so with that, I've drafted this neckline. We are going to tighten a bit, but before we do that, let us do our extended sleeve, so that by the time I'm tightening, I won't have any issue around here. So I also want to extend by 3 inches. That's like basic, but if you want it to be longer, you can increase the length. I've added all my sewing allowances, so everything I'm doing is on my sewing allowances. And then for the extended sleeve, I'm going to connect my extension, whatever you are using. Like I said, mine is 3 inches. I'm marking from my sewing allowance, so that is 3 inches, and I'm going to connect that to my bust line. And before that, I'm going to extend this waist to bust line. Or the waist to the armhole line rather, I'm going to extend it up like this. So for ideally or commonly, people just join from here to this point. But for ease of sewing, imagine I want to maybe snatch a bit. I just want ease for me to be able to move around. I don't know if you understand. So from this armhole to shoulder line, I'm going to come inwards by 0.5 inch. So if I need to take in or reduce the dress, it is going to be easy for me. So I'm going to connect from here to this point. So you can either do from the shoulder line here to your actual side line here, or you can come in by 0.5 like I'm doing, and you just connect it like this. This way you are basically done with the extended sleeve. So now I can tighten this area. Why I'm tightening is because if you sew on like this, there might be you might experience a little gaping around this area. The side will obviously not be nice. So what I'm going to do is to find the midpoint of this new neckline. So I'm measuring the entire neckline, that's 7 inches. So I'm going to mark the midpoint, which is 3.5, somewhere around here, and I'm going to connect that line to my bust line. So now that is done, I'm going to tighten by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to mark my 1/2 inch towards the center front, not here. I'm going to mark inwards 0.5. So this is my 0.5. I'm going to reconnect that back to my bust line. Can you see? So this is that, and I've successfully tightened this area. So to close up this, because I'm not going to be sewing this dart, to close it up, I'm going to open this from my waist dart, the dart here. I'm going to open it up to the bust point, and I'm also going to open this all the way down. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to split this open. Up to this point. I want to extend all these lines up. So I'm going to cut this line. Just cut it close. When you're cutting, cut very close, don't cut through. But if you do, you can always step it down. So I'm going to move this way. Let me open my paper. Just so we ensure that this is on a straight line, we're going to move this side, not this one. So I'm going to lift this one and fold it until I get to the 0.5 mark. So I've gotten there, and now I will close that point. I always forget to buy paper tape when I go to the market. I think I will try and note that down, write it somewhere so I don't keep forgetting. I'm supposed to get a paper tape. So now we're going to redraw. You notice that the lines does not match anymore after closing. So we're going to redraw the neckline. So this is what our new neckline looks like. Now that we're done with that, you're going to cut out your neckline. You're going to cut out your new cut together sleeve, this extended sleeve. You're going to go this way. I hope you understand that. So now we'll move on to the back. I want to do some other things with this pattern, that is why I'm not cutting this out yet, but I hope you understand from the illustration. So you're just basically going to cut here. You cut out your shoulder, you cut this out, then you cut through like this, and then your side line, and that is basically it for the front. For the back is about the same thing, just that we're not going to be tightening anything. And for this back I'm working with, she wanted a for the back I'm working with, she wants a V neckline. So I'm going to go inwards by 3 inches from my neckline. So whatever you did to the front, you do to the back. So if you're making your boat neck 3 inches away from your neckline, you are going to repeat the same thing for both the front and back. If you are doing 4 inches, depending whatever you are doing, basically replicate the same thing for the back so that your sleeves will match at the same point. So because I use 3 inches for the back, for the front rather, I'm going to also use 3 inches for the back. For the neck depth of the back, the V back we're doing, she wants it to be very deep. So I'm going to be using this armhole line as my guide. So from here I'm going to connect this way, so it's very deep, just so that I'm on the safe side. I would also be extending my armhole line up to the sewing allowance so that I can connect to this point and not this, because this might end up being too deep. So I'm just going to basically do this. So this is going to be how open the back is going to be. So this is what I'll be cutting out. And for the extended sleeve, I'm going to just be doing the same thing as I did for the front. So we're going to be extending this line like so, and we're going to be measuring 3 inches. So I need to open this a little. So now I'm going to extend further so I have enough room to measure my 3 inches. So for my sewing allowance here, I'm going to mark inwards 3 inches. So this is my 3 inches. I'm going to extend my side line up a bit, and so I'm going to mark inwards 0.5. Like I mentioned, you can connect from here to this side line, but I want to go in by 0.5, and I'm going to connect that point, the 2 point. I'm going to connect those 2 points together. And that is basically all. So you just go ahead and whatever neck, you can decide to do a round neck for the back, but this is what mine looks like. So I'm going to cut through like this, come here, go through this curve, and then the side line, and I'm going to cut this out. I'm also going to add 0.5 here to join my kiss pleats to the bodies. And yeah, so that's basically it. Later today, this evening, I'm not sure, but I'm going to be going live just to record the process of sewing this outfit, and hopefully I'm going to have that uploaded later on in the week. So thank you for joining me on this episode. Do well to like, subscribe, leave a comment or words of encouragement. Please do well to also share with your friends so that the algorithm will keep pushing out this video to someone that might need it out there. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.